Welcome.
Theorex just redeemed Get a Clue.
Well then, welcome on in everybody, and welcome on Theorex. Pleased to meet you. Well, pleased to meet you in stream. Always curious to know what brought you to the DC73 streaming crew community, and pleased as punch to meet a new face, or a new voice, I guess. Yeah, voices. There we go. That's the word. So, Dylan Standard Time, as you guys are aware, is anything but standard, but we are here. I am just booting up the game and making sure I can get in before I bring you guys over, because sometimes it's not the smartest thing to be jumping in to a world and not being able to get in. Ooh.
Ads are starting, which means it's break time. Thank you for your patience and stream support.
You know, might help if I actually have the mic not muted, but when the ads are over, we will jump into DC's server, so I will be there in just one shake.
Hello there.
Ads are over. Ads are over, so it's time to be live. So, welcome on in, everybody. I'm welcome, Thea. Pleased to meet you. And if you have a name that you prefer I use, then please let me know. Now, is it hard-sounding T, or is it a more of a softer one, as in the ending of the word with? Just want to make sure I get it pronounced properly. And welcome to the server, by the way. Hard T. Awesome. Okay. Okay, so it's Taya. Cool. Love it. Love it. Alright, so, this is what you think it is, sort of. At the beginning of the season, I took over a mansion. I had never done a mansion on my own before, so I figured, hey, why not? Let's give it a go. What do we got here? Ooh. Oh, that one's a little full. Okay. That one needs to give it a bit of a go. But yeah, I took over a mansion, had never done that, so that's my biggest place to start. Ah, got it. I totally follow that Latin username business. I couldn't get the correct spelling of my own choice name, and so we ended up with something different as well. I still have projects that are not quite done, but I'm not in a wool mood today. Would love to get my brain around that one, but not seeming to actually happen. So today I'm going to work on some glass. Now we're just going to glass in the clock. The clock, she says. Yes, well, clock, and probably chop some trees. But this clock needs a glass front. Why? Because I decided clocks have glass fronts. And then we're going to work on some banners for it, maybe. Or I will go chop trees in this section. My theme this season has been Yellow Submarine movie. So we have ourselves, quite literally, a yellow submarine. We have ourselves Jeremy Hillary Boob, PhD. And I'll spin that one. And then oh, geez, that's a horrible look. What about this one? This one any better? Yeah, maybe. Okay, that's better. So, and then there's the Beatles. And then we've got a clock for when I'm 64. And this space over here that wasn't quite finished getting chopped out is meant to be for another one of these sort of picture things. Excuse me. But it'll be one where they're wearing their Sergeant Pepper outfits. I was going to orient it related to the main base building, like sort of turn it, but I'm thinking because of the way that maps always end up north up in these games, then I'm going to end up with probably putting it this way, I guess, like orienting the same direction over on this right hand side. At one point I was thinking of putting in a Helter Skelter, just a generic Beatles theme, but I'm not that organized this season. I won't get that done. So anyway, that's where we're at. So yeah. You know what though? I would actually seriously recommend, Tay, if you take a look around, like as in maybe spend part of your time sort of riffing off of one of the other community members, Max Money AWA, but to riff off what he was thinking about for next season a little bit, is you could spend this part of your season being a bit of a nomad, couch surfing, so to speak, and go from base to base and check out what the kind of things the other people in the community do. It gives you a vibe for where our heads are at. A lot of people are, their theme is just basically build something super cool, like a big farm or a big decorative something or whatever, and then encase it. Other people have themes where they want to be functional. Other people have themes where their base is cohesive, as in various things. Mine usually tends to be a collection of things that seem to have a similar theme. That's about it. Like, I don't really have a coordinated theme as such. Next season will be about the same. What I mean by that is that next season I'll probably be just doing a whole pile of related single builds again, but related to a world that I just can't seem to get my head out of right now. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Actually, let me just ditch that. There we go. Well, yeah, so you could totally do that. I don't think we have a zoo this season. So, and there can always be more than one. No problem with that. but I'm thinking that sometimes people do zoos and stuff, so I really, really like the idea. Everybody's take on it is different, but it probably wouldn't hurt just to let the community know once you've decided on something like that, because sometimes if you're really good at it, then people ask your help to move animals and creatures and whatever. And other times, if there's creature types you want in your zoo that you have a challenge getting moved yourself, the community is really willing to help out and make that happen. We joke about Mel, but I mean, there's people like Mel and Bacon that really aren't afraid. Afraid's not the word. Don't have problems with the warden. And so they will very happily these days help out if one needs to be, warden moving or something like that. There's some that I've seen some, I haven't done it personally, but I've seen some that have no issue moving things like guardians, like actually physically moving them if you want to put a big aquarium. Although that's not exactly the world's safest thing, but who says what's safe these days, So yeah. So my thought this year had been to do things I hadn't done before with the Beatles deal. Pardon me, sorry, I've got some granola stuck in my teeth. And that's why I took over the mansion. But also it was just convenient with the various different rooms to be able to do the various different farms I wanted. And yeah, where was I at? I was... Oh. 1, 2, 3. You're going to get me making some wrong keystrokes today. I've been playing a lot of No Man's Sky. And with that, I keep pressing tab, because that's what they use for inventory. But tab doesn't do that in this one. What am I doing? I'm not just wandering around to show you what's up. I actually am just disorganized. Okay, so we have, I want this. Is there sand in here? Shift. Okay, I have sand. Good. We don't have to go sand shopping. Perfect. So I don't have glass at the moment. That's what I wanted. Glass for the front of the clock. If I was to be paying attention instead of yik-yakking, I would get things done. But, I prefer the yik-yakking to be quite upfront. Okay, good. Let's turn this puppy on. I'd never made a quote-unquote super smelter. This isn't really a super smelter. Sort of a smelter plus, I guess. But hey, it was an I'd never done it before thing, so let's go with it, right? All right. How much is this? Oh, it's only taking that much of time. Okay, fine. It's not that I can't take more, it's just it bounces funny. That's okay. Okay, I guess I have room for more. Come on, glass. It goes a little quicker that way, it's nice. Okay. So I want... What on earth is being so noisy? Oh, it's you guys! Aha! Right. Yeah. I forgot, I'm gonna need a few of those. Okay, anyway. I would like to make them quiet, but I can't really afford to, because if I make them quiet, then when I'm actually having them come help me out, I don't know where they got to. 10, 12, and... oh no, 13. I don't really need to replace all those at the moment, but it helps. There we go. I mean, I've got a whole box full. Well, I shouldn't say a whole box. I had a bunch. Let's get a few more, just because we can. Because besides, I'm waiting for the glass anyway. So the fossil dig site would be kind of cool. I think that would be a neat idea. I personally have never seen one done as that, but you can, as I said, there's a million different ways to do things. I'm always surprised by what the creativity that people in this community have. And one of the best things I love about the Dadcraft 73 community is that if one wants to play Minecraft as though it's a cozy game, you can do that. If one wants to play it as an adventure game, you can do that. Like, there's so many different things. I'm not really sure what I could say that if one wants to play it as a combat game, because it doesn't really work that way. but, you know, it's better than nothing, right? What's this? This is, oh, that's cat food. This was not intentional. This is not intentional. And I've actually even broken my own rule, and, uh-oh. You guys? Oh, no, they are still attached, okay. I've broken my own rule. So, this is not intentional. What actually happened, these are natural spawn cats, and every time there's a natural spawn cat, I would just tame it, right? That was the whole point. However, I've ignored a few on the roof because I was doing a lot of other projects, and I really just didn't want to come back down and get the cat food. I was just too lazy. So we haven't actually grabbed all of them this season. I was going to see how many that came up, and yeah. I'm not intended to be the crazy cat lady. That actually belongs to somebody else, but it works, I guess. Anyway, let's get this glass, and I'm pretty sure this won't be enough, but it's a good place to start. I intentionally had, a couple seasons ago, I think I had 31 or 32 cats or something like that, because I was doing a theme based on mystery books, and the mystery theme, is this empty? Okay. The mystery theme had, there we go. The mystery theme had, there's a series called The Cat Who, so things like the cat who ate Danish modern, the cat who spoke to a cardinal, the cat who said cheese, and like, but there's 29 books in that series, and so I had each cat was named after one of the books, and then I had a couple accidental extras. So I don't remember why they showed up, but maybe it was because I was trying to get all the kinds. I'm not really sure, but anyway, so I had these accidental extras as well, and yeah, I had 32 cats, and I put them all, well, kind of like this. I put them all in one room, and they're just all staring at you, except it was in the middle of a cathedral, so yeah, it was a little weird. And the cathedral reference was to another character in a book series. Okay. This is, at the moment we have the Now Trending series from the Epidemic Sound stuff via Spotify, and that's strange. That's a strange song choice, but okay, whatever. We'll go with it. What's this? This is wool. Okay, I can put that away. Put that away. What's this? This is more wool. Let's put this. I'm also forever an organizer. Not that I do any good at it, but just forever an organizer. Okay, dirt, string. String can go away because, yeah, string can go away because I discovered, yeah, I can't do what I was trying to do. Sorry, the song's catching me a little off guard. Okay, so let's go put sleep, and then we'll put some glass up. Weird, okay. Is it raining out? It's raining, okay. That explains a lot. I was trying to figure out why it was so dark. Alright, well then, I'll do a quick brief run around and make sure all the farms and stuff are okay. More or less. So we've got these guys. I never did end up actually, I labeled them, but I never did end up actually cleaning up who did what to try and get all the types of terracotta. That was the plan. And yeah, it just didn't happen. I mean, the priorities and stuff, like, it may still happen, but it really didn't need to. And then this was just the villagers that were useful. So things like, you know, you always want farmers for carrots, and you can get emeralds from them. And this was my stick, these are my stick guys, right? So that we could get stuff from them. I want to be able, oh, string for emeralds, there we go. That's what that was for. And then, of course, everybody just needs your redstone and your ender pearls, although that was before the ender got made on the server. So I used them for something else. I used redstone, and somebody else at one point was building with a ton of lapis, so I was using them for that. Yeah, that's about it. And then it was emeralds. These guys were here because, what did I use them? I needed them to eat something. Oh, I know. I was sending them kelp blocks for emeralds and raw chicken for emeralds. That's what it was. All this stuff. So it was, I wanted the emeralds. These are the book guys, of course. You know, your generics, right? Emerald guy. And then they had some of them. I mean, I didn't label who did what, but they basically are your defaults that most people want. And it wasn't just for everybody else. It was that I wanted a local source. These guys, why did I want you? I don't remember. Emeralds, of course, but there was some other reason. I think it was for the maps originally. Yeah, I think so, because I wanted a trail chamber. And then what was this guy for? I can't remember. I think I was going to do banner patterns, but I don't remember why I was going to do that. No. Whatever. Okay, so, and then, as always, when you've got an iron farm, these guys are super, super helpful because you get emeralds and then, of course, your various different things, right? You know, you cheese your way into half-decent diamond gear to start yourself. And, yeah, it worked out really well. Sheep farm, super easy, same sort of deal. So really, these guys just kept me going all season. And it's stupid rain. Options. Sound. Sorry, the weather level is driving me nuts today. Here we go, let's make it a third. I, the last few weeks, bought a couple of sets of, weirdly enough, earplugs. And really, I know I'm wearing earphones today, trying to avoid the chaos with the speakers, just to see what sort of effect it has on the stream. But in any case, I lost my train of thought. Oh, you are slow. Oh, what happened? Okay, it must be nighttime, because I'm actually seeing you guys sleep. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, I mean, it's easy. Shot by a skeleton is one of those things, Porte. I am not pro. And honestly, call it distraction, right? So the thing I love about this version of the farm, I don't have a visual to the sky. I may go back at some point, a few seasons, and build the version I had out there again. But this one, it's got two speeds, really, right? You've got, well, actually, no, this is only one speed. But the villagers in Java, of course, will make their own golems because they're, you know, conversational. So especially if you have, how did I get 5 in there? I think it was 5 I wanted for conversational. But anyways, and then of course you scare them with the zombie, and they're awake all day long, so they're seeing the zombie. But when they start looking for beds because it's nighttime, then they can look down, and that's why I've got the slabs on the corners and the trapdoor on this one corner, is so that they could look down and successfully find beds and then won't be able to make eye contact with the zombie and kept up all night. Now, the reason I do it that way is just based on personal experience. Everybody else that I've talked to, well, that's good, I guess. Oh, I see. So you went on an adventure and then managed to respawn at your house because that's where your bed was. That's cool. I like that. So well, I'm glad you're back where you got it. So basically what I was saying is that I do the farms this way because my personal experience, in spite of talking to other people, you're welcome to buy my place if you can figure out how to get there. Depending on where you're at, there's a portal at spawn that will get you up to the rail system, and Delenn is on the rail system. I can't remember which one. I think it's on the left-hand half. But you're welcome on out here and grab whatever you need. Or I don't think I have a whole ton of spare gear kicking around, but you're welcome to steal what you want and make or trade for whatever you like. So anything is available in here. I think this one is what I currently have for spare gear, or You're welcome to come and raid this one. That one there, which has a bunch more good stuff. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm totally okay with that. That's totally okay. What I was going to suggest, if you wanted to, yes, you can go with the skeleton shot you, or you can blame, just for fun, blame me as a distractor, and come pick up the closest thing to what you used to have. So that's another thing. If you don't want to upgrade, you're welcome to do that, or you're welcome to skip it all together. That's fine too. No offense. Anyway, where's I going with this? Oh, yeah. So these guys, I found in my experience that after a while of being scared, eventually they just stop listening, like paying attention to the zombie. I mean, they still run around like it, but the golem rates drop off down to conversational levels again. It's like they just don't care that this zombie guy's here. So my solution to that has been let them go to bed. It sounds dumb, but because so frequently, unless you're doing AFK, people on the server will be sleeping, so that they'll just get a chance. Like the villagers go to bed, then a player goes to bed, and the whole thing resets, and off we go again. So it's fine. I don't really need a whole ton of iron anyway. Hey there, lass. How you doing? Nah. I don't need a whole ton of supplies because, or at least iron. I have just a bit. I can't even open that chest now. But we're up to this far. So all that, 2, 3, and it's backing into here now. So yeah, by the end of the season we'll probably have some in this top chest that I can't open. And I thought about going a single chest just so I could open it, but it really didn't matter. So yeah, actually, because it goes down into that chest and then over here, so I'd have to rework all the other stuff. Anyhow, that's that. Where's my lunchbox? Nope, that's not it. What color did I make the lunchbox? Purple. Of course I would. Hey there, lass. You know, I'm sorry to hear that you've had a bad cold. I totally follow. Oddly enough, ours isn't a bad cold, but many of us in the house have been having some challenges with the fire smoke that's been going around. Well, not that's going around, but as in that it's been shifting down. And the result of that is... Oh, okay, honey. The result of that is just that we are very scratchy. My voices? Oh boy, I'm really not with it today. My voice has been going in and out a fair bit, so we'll just have to fake it till you make it, you know? Did I forget to pull that one out? I did. Come here. Give me a box. One. Any blocks? Okay. So there'll be a good amount of this season, just as we get towards the end of this season. I will probably be copying this build. So I tend to use, I call them quality of life mods, but I basically try to stick with mostly quality of life mods, things that don't really change how the game functionally operates. So for example, I've got mods that show me, where's it going to go? This glass, right? Wrong button again. There we go. Okay. Oh, let's drop the flowers. I've got mods that show me, the contents of a shulker box, for example. But, and I've got mods that map, and I've got mods that shut down sounds that are annoying, and so on. And that's, so I call those all quality of life mods. But I also use Lightmatica, which is, or very much also the same thing if you're familiar with hearing about it on the Bedrock side. It's Structura. And, so I've got those sorts of things. I also have an inventory management mod. Do I really want... Nah. Where's my clock? This. Okay. Sorry, I know I'm derailing and scrolling all over the place. Come scroll with me. So I also have a free cam because... I don't know. Because, I guess? So this is the rather freaky looking... Jeremy Hillary Boob PhD, and I will probably be actually doing something along the edge of the platter with banners, maybe. I should probably start doing a whole ton of banners for these and doing the labels. But there you go. So he's a small guy, usually, in the Yellow Submarine movie, and he... this is not a great picture because the proportions are a little bit screwed up. He should have probably had a little bit of a longer body before I got to his head, but the picture I was referencing made it look like this, so whatever. But he's the Nowhere Man. And so he's the one that the Beatles sing about as Nowhere Man. And there's one spot where he's spinning on a bunch of circles, and the Beatles are going around the outside as well. But I decided to try and do that as a somewhat concentric-ish line on a record instead. So I just thought that was kind of a cool thing. And yeah. So I have the quality of life mods, but not much that changes how things operate. And so I will be, by the end of the season, doing a bunch of schematic copies, so that when I put these into my other world that I've been just starting, then we'll be seeing, it'll be in like an archival world, and I could paste those ones in, or even if I end up building them, I don't have to build from scratch kind of piece. I can build from pattern, so to speak. So yeah, that's where that goes. Glass. And this one, quite literally, I'm just glassing it in. Part of the reason is because I don't want to spawn proof the inside. I could, but I really didn't like the look that it was starting to give it. So I figure at least I can do is trap the mobs inside. So yeah, that's why the glass layer. It's gonna be across the whole thing. So yeah, there we go. And I'm well aware that unless people are using a connected textures mod, they're gonna see all the glass, and I decided that's just the way it is, unfortunately. I wish connected textures on glass was a default in Minecraft, but it is not. And I squirrel all over the place when I talk about stuff or do things. I'm a squirrel mess. It's just, yeah. So my one of my major distractors, I should say, is that I'm conscious of not wanting to, I don't know, be a Debbie Downer or be too serious or whatever. But suffice to say, it drives Fantastic Sherlock Fox nuts a little bit that I do this, but oh, whoops. That was not what I wanted to do. Dummy. Ow. Yeah. That's why I need a whole lunchbox. Oh, come on. Do I have a... I didn't bring a bed. How smart. Okay, well... Fine. Guess we'll do it the other way. We'll steal the one off the roof. Or, well, one of the ones on the roof. Oh, haha. I cleaned it up the other day. Great. No, I didn't. Okay. So basically, where I was going with that is that in the last couple of years, I started, I guess you'd say, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this because I'm finding it all kinds of awkward for me. We've talked about it a million times, so some of the people on the stream are aware of it and bored by now, probably. But I discovered, or found out in the last couple of years, that I actually have ADHD. Now, it started as a self-diag, so, you know, make of that what you will. But the more I deal with it, the more people are kind of like, yeah, why didn't you say so before? But anyways, the point where that relates to this, it's more an executive function fail. And so the resulting effect is I spend a good amount of time dealing, I guess you could say, and learning about better ways to do things for me and so on and so forth. So one of the pieces of that, though, is I have a very short memory. It's like people joke about goldfish, and aside from the fact that science has shown goldfish actually have longer memories than we give them credit for, but so I have a lot of what people call threshold behavior, where you go into a room and you completely and utterly forget what you were up to when you were in there, or why you went in that room, or what you were there for. So I have that a lot, and that happens a lot on stream. No, I forget what I was doing, or where I was going, or whatever, and I have no excuse for it. But also, the result of that whole working memory headache is, or not result, but related to the whole working memory headache, is that I can get into a thread and not necessarily forget what I'm doing, but if I suddenly start focusing a little bit on what I'm doing, I forget what I was saying. So yeah, if I start saying something that's actually interesting, and then I derail off of it, and you want to hear the tail end of that, let me know. Otherwise, I will just keep rambling. I'm trying to pay more attention to what's going on in chat. So for those of you that stream or are interested in streaming, or the background of it or whatever, I've fallen in love with an app that anyone can use. It's a very lightweight little app called was it Transparent Twitch Chat Overlay, I believe. And it's like a GitHub thing. And it's actually a separate little app, but what it does is it just brings your chat on top of whatever you're doing so that you can see it while you're working. Now, I have 3 monitors, so one would argue that I don't need it in that respect, because, I have the space. It's not that I'm running out of space. But I use it anyways because this way I can keep with the mental blinders and not have to be checking all my monitors where other things will distract me as well. So trying to keep up with chat is interesting, but the transparent Twitch chat overlay is great because it puts up chat. You can have it show you your like points, redeems, requests and stuff as well. And you can filter out some of your bots and a lot of that stuff. So it's really helpful to try and minimize the chaos that's normally found in a chat stream while being click-through. So I can just keep playing even if I had the chat right underneath my cursor. I don't have it right underneath the cursor, but I mean, if I did, I could still do that. And that allows it to be on screen enough for me that it attracts my attention so that hopefully I can keep on top of it. Now, I made a bit of a mistake. Well, not a bit of a mistake, I guess. I have to contend with the fact that I cannot filter out Oswin. Oswin being, as you guys can see in there, is Oswin bot. And he is quite literally my bot. But I've given Oswin a ChatGPT personality, as many of you are aware. And therefore, sometimes the stuff it or he says needs verbally addressing. So I need to say something about it. Because either he said something stupid, or it gives a great talking point, or whatever. However, as many of you are also aware, I have not yet figured out how to get it so that the speaker bot can, deal with what I'm saying. I'm sure there's probably somewhere a way to do it. I just haven't seen anybody else do it, nor have I figured it out for myself. And I have not asked the brains at some of the mod making or OBS plugin people, how to do that, because they're not a huge one for that sort of stuff at the moment. They've got other projects that are more popular. Okay, so I'm out of glass, which means we need to run back and make some more. It's okay, we can do that. But anyways, so that's why I don't filter out Oswin, which means that I do have to contend with the fact that some of the chat I get is just purely him going on and about some, bot-esque thing that you would expect, like, I don't know, plugs for using your Prime or some such stuff. Now, as my tags probably show, I'm in... Oops, I have to go get the glass. I am in Canada. Is this... That's sand. That's sand. Why do I have white for sand and then not white for sand? That make no sense. Okay, well, fine. We'll just use one of the non-white ones. I think I was trying to color code them, then just gave up. Yeah, well, I mean, it would become, I believe, more relevant if... Ooh. I just had yeah. I just had a silly moment. As in, like, why didn't I think of this before? I normally don't like having open hoppers that just sit there and do nothing. Excuse me. But it just occurred to me, do I have a composter handy? Wonder what a note block would do. Let's try that. I don't like having an open hopper just sitting around, but the advantage to doing it that way is I can just throw a shulker on top and it'll unload for me, which is nice. Let's just do that. This way, and then I have to reach the shulker. Oh, yeah, I have to get the shulker to reach. Come here, buddy. Can you fit up there? Yay! It'll take forever, but that's okay. You actually getting... Oh, right. Uh-oh. Okay, well, it's not staying in the box, so I guess I can assume that it goes there. Where was I going with this? I'm gonna need some more, I think. I have enough sand that I might as well make a couple of boxes. And then I'll dye the rest of the boxes. Just because apparently that's my color code system. Yeah, it works. And I have a bit of an obsession with collecting things together, if that makes any sense. What do I need? 3? Okay, 3. Where's... do I have... I've got 2. New recipe... Oh! Ha. I haven't actually looked at... No, not that. This. Because I don't have the ghast and such, so yeah. That's okay. Alright. Yeah. Now, quality of life-wise, I've not put in stuff like JEI or whatever. I've seen people do that. I think that's a little too far. What am I doing here? I want you. Do you have one in there? Yes. Let's steal one out. I've got 3. We'll just... Oops, let's put those there. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And this one I'm just going to spend right away, so that's why I'm not too worried about it. I guess we could always start making the banners. I will probably end up pulling up another page for that, though. I don't have the creativity in my head at the moment to be able to make banners, but, you know. Are you empty at the moment? No, you're not. Okay. Let's put that one down there for now. Alright, is it full enough that it's staying? No, not yet. You know what? Let's just do this a little faster. And let's go. Oh, no, that's not going to work. There we go. So one of the things the inventory profiles next does is allow me to sort, but the other thing I really wanted it for is I have a bad habit of throwing things, right? Throwing stuff out and dropping it. And even when I change my key, I tend to end up replacing things. So what I like about inventory profiles next is I've got a key where I can just lock stuff in. And that way, when I hit sort, it won't move the things I don't want it to move. I find incredibly useful. And that also allows me to do things like mass moving stuff from one spot to another, right? Because then, see, that I don't want to happen because I held a modifier key down to show you that it would. Whereas if I did this, okay, now if I don't hold my modifier down, then I just go like that. It only picks up the stuff that matches, which is great. And then I can sort this out and it's good, it's out of the way. So that works well. I brought the note block because when this is empty, which I'm just going to force it, I think, when that's empty, then I'm going to put the note block on top. I don't know if that's going to work to prevent the hopper from looking for things, but could be worse. Okay, let's grab this out of here, and I'll put the note block up top. truthfully, I should... Actually, let me just... I'm gonna try it in the other room on purpose. This. If I put a note block, okay, it only goes there. Will it go up here? It'll go. Does it do anything? Can I put that? See, yeah, I can't put that in there. Can I put it in here? It'll go, but doesn't do anything. Okay. Yeah. Can't remember if note blocks do anything in the other part, but I think that'll work, because if... I just don't want it to end up, like, actually... I'd rather jam something in the system than burn up. So I think that'll work for now, because I don't believe it'll look for much of anything, but hey, somebody with more brains than me will let me know. Yeah, sure. That was my suggestion, is go for it. Go ahead, explore anything you like. And by the way, I will be running around, but if you have a problem with being on, like, accidentally in frame, I'm not making a YouTube video out of this or anything like that, and it's not a whole heck of a ton for touring, I guess, to be done. You're welcome to look wherever you like. It's mostly self-explanatory. But if you're uncomfortable with being on camera, then I'm here for probably an hour or 2 hours more, depending on the mood. So just a heads up on that one. But you're welcome anytime, whether I'm on or not. That's my dirt backup. Okay, this is tools. Cool. Cool, that works. Okay, so now that I've got the stuff in there, I should probably actually start it smelting. You know. Pull the lever, Kronk! Thankfully that's the right lever. Woohoo! Hey, you know what? I've never actually played with the new thing that they've got where it shows other players on the server at the same time. That's cool. I've never actually played with that before. So if I look down at the floor, it says you're above me. If I look up, it says you're below, so you're on the same floor. Cool. Neato. Okay, so 13. I'm not going to bother. Did I put in the wrong one? Yep. Let's not bother with that, but we'll still refill. Oops. No, thank you. You can go up here, and I'll put the rest back. There we go. All right. And these can go back here. 1, 2, and 3. What's this? So one of them... I wish you could rename the shulker boxes temporarily, because, yeah. Well, apparently now we have more. That's alright. I wasn't using sand for anything anyway, so that's okay. I guess I was doing a project. Oh, I knew what I was doing. Ha 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 ha. So I start and stop projects from time to time because I wanted to get other things done. And, oops, let me sleep this way. I wanted to get things done, and so I did what's the word? All the planning for the glass on this one, and I made the glass, and then I didn't actually do anything with it. By the way, I've had these guys just because they're cute. That's the only reason I have them, is they're cute. That's it, period. I guess I could make brushes and stuff, but I just never did. So we have a few. And I guess I should deal with that because this one, yeah, that one's getting full. So I guess it's a few more boxes. This empty boxes. 1, 2, 3. Oops, no, it's not this. 1, 2, 3 sticks. Okay. See, that's a permanent label. But because the other ones I thought were going to be temporary, I didn't want to label them. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe? I think we're close. Oops, let's start with this one, because it's going to be full. So this is the other reason I like inventory profiles next, is because it allows me to deal with stuff like this really quickly. This one. Oh, whoops, that's glass. Put the glass one down. Okay. This one, that's empty. Good. Empty. You can go up there. And then... Oh, I did it wrong. Sorry. I'm also picky about directions. Silly me. Uh-oh. Whoops. Haha. Empty or full? You're full. Empty. This way. Come on. That'll work. Oh, really? Honestly? There we go. Better. Okay, so that one here, empty. You can go up there. Let's fill that one. So yeah, I have just a few of those. And the intent had been to probably go to spawn at some point. Or not spawn, sorry, shopping district, and just put them away. Okay, is this, what's this? This is, that's glass. What I have in my hand is glass. Okay. Yes, glass. Okay, stay. There. And then let's put this one up here. I'd also never made a bee farm as large as this season's, so that's another one of those new things. I don't know what I'm going to do for quote-unquote new next season, because some of the things that I haven't done because I don't really need it, and other kind players on the server have already done it, so I don't need to, you know? That is dropped for a reason. Okay, so let's not mess with that. This one. I think I have a spot up there, maybe? Actually, I guess I can put one more in front. That'll work. Oh, whoops. Don't take the boots off. So it's a little bit of puttering and squirreling. There we go. Okay. You're clear, right? You're clear? Good. These are glass. Okay. Oops. All right. You know, these guys are kind of pink. I'm wondering if I should just, like, if I didn't have them stacked here, maybe I'd color them pink. It's funny, though, how the colors work out here, because it seems sort of pinkish at the bottom, but as we go up, this one's sort of a different color, and then they get almost like purple and lavender up top. And I don't know why it's doing that. I wish I could control it, because those are great colors. But, oh well. Yeah, but I have these guys purely because they're cute. And it's so sweet when they hide. And then these guys are not wild dogs because just because. These guys all have Beatles names. So we've got Harrison and Starr and Paul and John and Ringo and McCartney and Lennon, and this should be George. So they've got first names and last names. Hey Tay! Good to see you. By the way, I love your skin. That's awesome. That's totally awesome. Mine's not that exciting. See? That's a Sherlock Holmes thing. So yeah. I often use, on stream, I often use a mod that, it was called Show Me Your Skin, that basically just made your armor invisible. But it didn't get updated for the last little while, so I didn't worry about it. Okay, this. I guess I can just leave it doing its thing because I don't need it. Alright. Do I have any banners waiting around? 16. Okay, that's a good place to start. Maybe I should find out whether or not I have ink. That could be a problem if I don't. 3. Okay. So it's brown. I do not have ink. I don't have a squid farm this season. Huh. Alrighty. So what do I want to do about that? Okay, before I get too squirrely here, oh, nope, is that the map? Nope, wrong way. I get so turned around. That's part of why there's banners giving directions inside the base. I get so turned. I'm gonna go finish up putting the glass layer on, and then it looks like it might be best to go see if Shopping District has dyes from squids. We have squids in the water, but getting enough to do all the lettering we're gonna need is a bit silly. Okay. I'm not liking that. I mean, it's fine. Okay, she's changed my mind. I'm part of that. Alright. That's okay. We're still gonna get glassed in, but most clocks you see don't have, what do you call it? Like a glass on the outside layer. You have your rim, your frame, and then the glass on the inside. What did, maybe I better check this out and see. What did I make this other part of? I think it's yellow concrete, but I better check.
Hello?
Hey Neon, good to see you and good luck on your lurk. I have been getting good news that your package should be, hopefully, not that far away. So yeah, all good. You know, while a lot of this happens to be slabs, and it wouldn't work everywhere, I could probably, rather than trapping mobs inside, having this weird collection of mobs down at the bottom, maybe I might be better off, rather than glassing in from the outside, I might actually be better off just to glass in the stuff around the numbers. And then it also doesn't make much difference on the lack of connected textures. And then I'd still have good places to put the banners. Saves me all the extra framework. That might be a smarter move. Okay, so in that case, let's just do a bit of a jump out and a tear out. Yes, totally. No, I'm not sending perishables. I will say though, there is one riskably meltable package inside the package. But it is inside a bubble envelope, so hopefully that will help. And at least it should hopefully help keep it from being quite so messy if it does melt. So yeah. I debated not sending meltables because that was kind of the reason behind the whole flavor train in the first place. So for Taya, those of you that are members of Dadcraft's community, one of the things that our group has been doing is in the colder months, there's a cookie train. So it's one of those, like, you know, make a dozen cookies and ship them to somebody, and then they can eat your cookies and they make a dozen and send them to the next group, and so on and so forth. But because of the summer months being too warm for that sort of thing, we talked about a flavor train, a local flavor train. So the idea being that people who signed up did a situation where you buy stuff or make it, but buy stuff from your region that you can ship, and then ship it to the next person in the train. And the idea being that if you're American, you know, it's often from your state, or super local if you can handle it. Like, not handle it, but if you have it. Okay. Let's put this one down and do a temporary bin. So this, these up as a reminder. Keep that one. But, so what they were doing with that is they were buying local and shipping, and some people were making things. I unfortunately couldn't do the make things part of it because international shipping right now, they're really fussy about food products at all. And the second piece of that is that, the second piece of that is that they didn't want, if it's not commercially packaged and, you know, commercially prepared, and that's fine, and commercially prepared and such, then we can't ship it at all. So that's part of why I didn't send anything perishable, is because it just, I couldn't guarantee it would get there, kind of deal. But yeah. So, but that was where the thing went. That's why we send, because it's warmer months, then you can send non-meltables, right? But the other part of the idea was that people would get to, people would get to experience more local flavors from where you are. So sometimes we're talking about various people. Oh. Yeah, let's pin yourself into a corner.
Ads are starting, which means it's break time. Thank you for your patience and stream support.
Well, I mean, it's not likely that I'm going to get beat up. So I guess let's just do this for now. And we'll pop down a torch. And then we'll do the usual ad break thing and grab awards on stream. So let's go here and start this one up. Oops. If I can grab the button. So while we are doing that sort of thing, I don't know if Tay's got like turbo or something, so to avoid ads. So I'm going to try and keep myself a little less fussy. Could not. Oh. Yeah. My OBS is just minorly complaining about one of my plugins. It's not a big deal. Okay, so let's start this, and it'll run most of the... I will take the 3-minute break, even though the ad break is not on screen, which should have been on screen, so I'm not sure why that didn't happen. Not entirely sure. But we have about 1:40 left on the ads. Then I'll come back. And if we lose the game, we lose the game. No big deal. You made it to level 3. Wow, goodness. making it to level 4. Not bad. So we usually go till we fail this round, and then we end up back in the main game. So, sometimes we used to run ads at the server restarts, but my ad time start and the server restart times don't match up very well. So we'll just fake it till you make it kind of thing. That's probably partly on me because I didn't play it this time around. But you guys did great. Thank you very much for playing. Come on, program. I crashed streamer bot, so not entirely sure why it's taking forever to load back up again. That's being really weird. I'm not entirely sure. Aha, there we are. Crazy bot. Where'd you be? Yay, okay.
Hello there.
Didn't intend to clear all the chat. Accidental thing related to when I started the program. But I was supposed to be cooking dinner. Well, yeah, things happen. Alright, so let's get back to live for now. And hopefully we will get in some good playing. Server restart in about 5 minutes. Let's see if I can get myself jammed. Here, I'm stuck in a box. Yay! What time is it? It is past sleep time in here. Alright, so let's pop that. Get myself out of here. And we'll sleep this one away. Alrighty, so I had to restart the bot because for some reason I looked at the actions thing and it was jammed out. There was like 8 of them sitting in there that weren't doing anything. So I don't know what happened, but oh well. Guess I might as well take this part out while I'm down here. Now that I know what I'm going to be doing. And it's probably a smarter move to do it this way anyways, to take out all the stuff and just fill in the inside. A lot less work long term. And so people were joking about 14 days, 2 weeks. It's not really. It's the at one point it was actually 14 weeks, but no, the way the Dadcraft server has usually run is that we reboot every time there was a major update, like a next version. So we were talking about 1.22, but of course, given that the cycle type has changed, meaning that the fine folks over at Mojang have done something different, that it kind of threw our schedule out of whack. So usually things were lasting approximately a year, because that seemed to be what it was between various major releases. So we'd have a start in June, and then we'd have another reboot, roughly the next year, June, etc., which worked out fairly well until they went and changed it all up, right? And so basically that it threw us a monkey wrench. But then people chilled out, started trying a few other things. Like there was a bit of a brief resurgence in bingo. There was some interest in a few more folks on the opposite type of servers. So if some were in Bedrock, they tried Java. Some were in Java, tried Bedrock. There's, summer vacation and all that jazz. So a lot of that stuff slowed down briefly. And then you start hearing noises now about server-based tours and stuff like that. And it's because we decided that there's a reasonable reason to reboot in November. I can never remember what it is. I know somebody has told me like six times over, but I never remember. But anyway, so they're rebooting in somewhere in November. Oh, there's the server list. Refresh. Fresh again. And so then, of course, the countdown has begun, which means, as usual, there will be people panicking, going, I haven't got my base done. And do you really need to? I think people may want to. This is part of why I do it in projects, in stages. So I got out of the way the one that I would kind of be disappointed if I didn't get it finished. It wasn't that I was aiming to do it, but I would feel kind of embarrassed if I didn't get the glove thing sort of done. It doesn't have a trail on it, but I mean, hey, if I had to stop today, it's at a state that I could put up with. So that's where I'm at. And then this is one, it's a bit of a busy work thing.
Hello there.
But I really meant to put the labels on for some of these. And a carpet art really doesn't take all that long, particularly if I'm using a pattern from via Lightmatica. So if I get that done, great. If I don't, it happens. I've got scout camps coming up and stuff. This is when our scout year kicks off, really. So it's a little busier. And that just means that I'm not able to play on weekends as much as I want to. I've also fallen in love with other games. Not that I'm not disenchanted with Minecraft per se, but every once in a while I have a motivation challenge. That's the one thing about... one of the things about thinking a little differently that is quite common is that sometimes novelty wears off fairly quick, and we'll be deep dive into something for months and months on end, and then suddenly we are not interested as much in that. And it's not that we necessarily stop, we just, put it on ice for a little while. And so Minecraft I was putting it on ice other than my streams. So a lot of the grindy stuff I wasn't doing on stream. Part of it was an embarrassment factor, confidence issues and all that people like Dadcraft can actually have a grand patter. I guess so, maybe. I didn't really pay attention to Neon. And it's, as I said, it's one of those things I should have and did not. But anyway, I know his birthday's a little bit later than that. But where was it going? But he's got enough power that he can make drying paint sound interesting. And I didn't believe that I do. Whether or not viewership disagrees with me, numbers don't lie. And suffice to say, so I felt that doing super grindy stuff, I mean, even this is kind of grindy by a lot of people's standards. I just felt that it was not going to be interesting to people, so I wasn't doing it. Which meant that if I'm playing other games off camera, and wasn't doing the grindy stuff on camera, then really I wasn't doing much of anything. And that has its pros and cons, you know, because I have projects and things I want to do and so on. But it's all a matter of like getting yourself to do it, right? Like it's a self-discipline thing to some extent, but it's also be okay with it, right? And I wasn't, well, I'm usually not okay with it. So yeah, but also, I mean, there's, as I mentioned earlier, there's the novelty element, right? And when the novelty just isn't there at the time, then I wanted to do something else. Hence that Wednesdays are returning for a while to being whatever Wednesday, or a something else Wednesday. And that's just helping me keep it fresh. But that I also am debating how much of the on-stream circles I'm going to be doing. My archive world that you guys have been seeing a little bit of is, I've decided it's based on an old TV series, or cartoon series, I guess, called Reboot. And Reboot, mainframe city is huge, and it takes a really long time to build. So there's a whole ton of circles, and more circles, and even more circles. And yeah, so that's one that sometimes will be there if I feel I have something to chit-chat about. Other times I might not feel that, and so you may not see a whole ton of it for a while. But that's where I'm going with it, because it has advantages in that I can use my other stuff. What do you call it? My other... Can't remember what I was going to say. I don't know. It's got my other base, like archiving builds and stuff. I can do that there. Hello? Yeah. Even though it's based off an old TV series, hence, you know, I love having themes, as you guys are well aware. It's just got opportunity for putting the old bases in it by using the excuse that those will be my games, whatever the theme is. So, you know, there's mystery games, and there's medieval games, and there's like different types of games in the Reboot world. So I can, that's my excuse. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, and if there's questions, great, you know, send them my way, but I don't want to repeat myself too often. That is another habit I've got that I'm not super pleased with. It's just the number of times I repeat myself. So yeah, it's a thing. Oops. So anyway, yeah. So related way back conversationally today, but we've heard it before. So in the last couple of years, I've been playing this whole ADHD thing, more accurate, the executive dysfunction element of it. And so that one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm back on, well, there's really two major streams of meds that are most popular with this sort of silliness. And I was on one, and we didn't think it was doing much of anything, so we switched to the other branch, and that was working, but not in the way I wanted to. So we're back on the main branch again, or pardon me, not main branch, but we're back on where I started, just a different med in that family. And so I'm still getting used to how that hits. It's funny, it feels like I've got more control, but I'm also realizing how much of it might be partially other behavior elements that the meds have nothing to do with. So for example, the biggest thing that I'm running into lately is there is some willful stuff. So some people say, we're not, like, you're lazy. And well, you know, we're not really lazy as such, but I will say there is an element of control that we don't necessarily cop to, where, okay, let me make sure, where because of our brains working differently, how do I put this? I'm trying not to get like overly heavy or anything, but because of our brains working differently, we actually don't get the buzz. It sounds funny, but we don't get even the relief kick out of getting a task done. So for some people, it's like, yay, that feels good to have that over and out of the way, and relief that's gone and whatever. Or even if it's just out of the way for the week, like because it's a chore or something. Well, the problem is, I don't get that. Not that I don't understand it, as in like physically do not get it. That behavior doesn't happen for me. And so it's a lot harder to choose to willfully make yourself do stuff that you don't really enjoy, and because you just don't get the kick, sort of thing. It's much harder to decide to do those things. And it's not that you have to, world has to be enjoyable all the time. But what I mean by harder is that it actually becomes more difficult to choose that over doing something that you do enjoy. Okay? And some people talk about, phone addictions and that kind of stuff as an example. And I could say, yeah, I get those. There's times where it's hard to put down my phone. But part of it is also me looking at it going, what are the alternative activities? If the alternative activity is not something I can get the relief dopamine kick from, and I'm super craving just generically the chemical happy out of that, then it's going to be really easy for me to choose to do something that's not necessarily, by normal standards, productive. So while some people may malign the idea of gamifying things, I haven't figured out quite how to, in my mind, acceptably gamify it. A lot of it's just a self-permissions issue, just because, it's a fairly new thing in my world to be choosing to deal with this, I guess. And fairly new meaning a couple of years. Like, it's not new. But, so where I'm going with that is, it's a lot easier. Even the grindy stuff in Minecraft gives me a bit of a buzz of, hey, I got X or Y done today. But another part of it can look like avoidance of tasks that I was supposed to get done. Like, let's see, I'm supposed to, because it's Tuesday and the place is open, I'm supposed to book my daughter's haircut that's well overdue. And I don't remember why I didn't do it before, but there was a reason. So there's that. There's tons and tons of household chores, just because there always is. That's the way life goes. You need to adult once in a while. And I'm just going to skip this one just because I'm not in that song mood. But where am I going with this? I guess I wasn't going to go on about this, and then I promptly did. That's the problem. So I get on a tangent. But anyway. So, but it's far easier to say, yeah, I'll just dig a little more sand or whatever, get the thing done in Minecraft, even if it's grindy, rather than doing those other things, because I know the Minecraft one's going to give me a bit of a relief or a buzz or an enjoyment of some sort, where the other ones don't. And so it's harder to, it's kind of like when people joke about, well, not joke about, but say, the old fashioned phrase, say no to drugs. Well, technically one could argue that our naturally occurring dopamine needs is a drug type response, because it's a chemical. It's more, picky that way. Oops, come on. Can I get you to, aw, okay. I guess technically, it's not like I had one person quite cruelly liken it to the nicotine fits of a smoker, and I wanted to string them up by their toenails. But that's just because I didn't agree with them. And that's one of the other things I'm finding is emotional regulation is a challenge. So I get frustrated easy, or I get disappointed easy, or I get whatever. And that drives Fantastic Sherlock Fox crazy, because, I shouldn't say because, I shouldn't put words in his mouth, but I know it bothers him because I have seriously outsized reactions and seriously outsized opinions to things that don't always make sense. Or it doesn't make sense to have that level of reaction or irritability or opinion about something. So we're often on very different pages, so to speak, on many topics. And I can be a little or very, depending on your point of view, bullheaded about stuff. So, yeah. I can't blame everything on that, but it's far too easy to fall into the things that I am able to enjoy. And so that means that from time to time, gaming-wise and streaming-wise, I need to switch it up, right? We can't always do the same thing all the time, and I need to keep it fresh, and yeah. And I will admit, I also have...
Hello?
Hi there, lass. Again, welcome back. Yes. Technically, my daughter was too. The reason I say technically is a lot of it really comes down to, aside from the fact that I'm not a huge fan of the fact, or the reality of it being classified in many areas for good reason as a form of disability. That's a training thing. My issue with that is just a training and exposure and being okay with that thing. But where am I going with this? But coping mechanisms and coping skills and permissible accommodations are a really big thing. They're a big part of that puzzle. And so for the most part, you'd never know it with my daughter. And frankly, a lot of kids, you wouldn't know it because there's so many of the similar behaviors that are just part of growing up. So it's difficult to separate the two. And so what that means really is, for me at least, my point of view is that it'll be a bunch of helping my daughter navigate her own way through what works for her and what doesn't work for her, but helping her understand not just what her parents want her to do, but what, in essence, society, school norms want her to do, and what pieces she needs to learn her way into being able to prioritize. And I know, and also it's a lesson for us as well, knowing that, you know, acceptance and supportiveness of that is important, and it's not easy for anybody. What I mean by that, I'll give you an example. So in the classic format that most people think of, when somebody says ADD or ADHD, they think of the kid, usually guys or boys. Classically, it's, you know, but how did I do that? But the ones who wriggle, you know, who can't sit still, who seem often in the clouds. Well, I mean, of course, now there's more formats of that accepted, or not accepted, recognized in terms of, there's a format they call inattentive, which would be like the daydreamer, mind wanderer variety, which doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't wriggling. It's just that because that's more my form, are wriggling in our heads. So bazillion bees going around, or squirrels, or whatever reference you want to make to it. And it's like a million thoughts that just won't shut up all at once at all times. But it's not always, like, we're not talking, you know, multi-personalities or anything like that. It's their own consciousness, but it can also be just a million different thoughts and ideas and stuff going on at once. And that can be very distracting. So it can be very, very distractible, and also can cause us to push out other things in our heads that we probably should have kept in there at the moment. So for a kid, it could be something like schooling, or it could be a long list of steps to get an activity done, like a task or something. It could be a bunch of stuff. Or also it relates to the novelty, because if you want to, not always a forgetfulness thing, but if you want to get something done, let's say, okay, here's another one. Teens. Teens are groups where you ask them to do something, and it often feels like they're not going to do it. They're not going to do what you ask them to do, and that it seems like it's willful. Sometimes it's not. It's that whole dopamine buzz business, but also sometimes it's a bit more of inertia. So there's a bit of a mental inertia thing going on that isn't easily overcome simply by willpower. I mean, those that can, more power to them, but I'm finding that those people who can in that format often tend to be more miserable overall. Not necessarily miserable attitudes, just unhappy. So there's that, I guess. But the other one I find interesting is that scheduling is a challenge for both youth and adults that have executive functioning differences. So I'm late. I'm perpetually late. I mean, I joke on this stream about Delen's standard time. And it's not just distractibility. Like, I actually personally have a plastic sense of time. What I mean by that is that I actually do not perceive time the way most normal people do. Would be nice if I did. You know, sometimes I really wish I could. Actually, a lot of times I really wish I could. But it just means that I don't feel the passing of time the same as other people. So my streams will tend to run over, or they'll start late, or whatever. And I just don't feel it the same way. And it's not that it's not happening. I'm well aware it's happening. But I need physically, I should say mechanical ways of showing me that it's passing. So I've got little countdown timers and stuff on my screen most of the time, which I just realized one of my screens wasn't showing. There we go. But that lets me know where things are at. And there's other items like that. When we have inertial issues starting a task, sometimes it's pressure. So, for example, I was taking a break from this server, and it wasn't because I wasn't enjoying it. I mean, I wasn't finished what I was doing, but I was just taking a break to do something else. And I wanted to get things done for the season. That seems like a fairly logical piece. But I needed pressure. And, I needed a deadline of some sort. So, because I didn't arbitrarily set my own deadline, it didn't end up sort of becoming more real until people started talking more frequently about the countdown towards being done for the season themselves. I was like, oh, crumb, Does this let me... Nope, not this one. Okay. Come on. Ow! Where's that hole? Shoot. Gotta figure out where the hole is. But anyway, so I wasn't likely to return to get things done until I, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 up here. So I wasn't likely to return to get things done until I started feeling the pressure. Right? So I needed to keep the pressure on myself to be able to keep moving. Or another one that's common, both with like people with schoolwork and other tasks, is needing the deadlines in such a way that you'll actually remember to start on a project in order to have it done on time. So for a lot of various related reasons, we chose to have me be a stay-at-home mom. And that's definitely what I enjoy most. Even though my kids are now becoming teens and there isn't as much call for it for me to be a stay-at-home mom, we learned well before I became a mom that unfortunately I don't hold down jobs so well. Partly because I have some pretty rough reactions to situations. So the emotional stuff can also get me to be impulsive. And impulsive can also be opinionated. and then the lack of projects starting and completion on time, and aversion to elements of a project that make me uncomfortable or annoyed, or like all those, like whatever the thing that is that causes a reaction. Yeah, that's not very conducive to long-term employment. So frankly put, I suck as an employee. Some of the things I've done the best at over the years were actually like really crappy menial jobs. But also I will be a dog on a bone on something. So I used to be a shift supervisor at a pet store years and years ago, and that one of the things you had to do at the end of the day was balance the tills, right? But I will get really fussy, and sometimes my boss was fussy too, so I felt the pressure to be picky. And the resulting effect is I would chase down like things under a nickel for hours to try and figure out where it went and what happened and whatever. I would chase it down for hours, and Fantastic Shock Box would wonder what on earth's going on. Why am I home so late? What else did I do? There's other similar type things. There was one job where I actually was legit working on stuff. We had other reasons for ending that job that wasn't necessarily related to the way I think, because my boss there was a bit of a fruitcake, and not in the unkind way. This lady was really actually nuts. But anyways, some of those other ones I'd be super late because there were portions of the job that I'm very uncomfortable dealing with. Weirdly enough, I don't like cold calling people. So I did tech support for years and actually wasn't half bad at that and kind of liked it, but then people call me and wanted my expertise of some sort or other, rather than me calling them. And the callbacks for that was always a pain in the butt, but it wasn't entirely cold call. Like I had a reason and they knew I'd be calling most times. Suffice to say, but this other one, I do the call part during the day, which was a cold call format to ask for information, which is supposed to be legally publicly available, but is not always easy to find. And then I'd spend the hours in the evening putting it together, trying to find it. Or not find it, but like do the reports and stuff. And it wasn't working well for me, and that wasn't working well for a lot of stuff. So when the boss and I parted ways for rather stupid reasons, I don't really think I missed it that much. But I mean, it's just little things that make it look like I wasn't great at my job, but I think part of it was I was a dog on a bone on tasks that some people figure shouldn't have been like that. Or if your job is reception, but you're also a filing clerk who has to be away from their desk because the filing room and the reception desk are not in the same space, it's not necessarily a good thing for, I would get the desk covered, but it's not necessarily a great thing for me to be dog on a bone about the filing system and trying to figure out exactly where a thing went, and if something got misfiled, hunting down where it belonged, and so on. So I'd either end up spending crazy hours after work doing that on my own time, which I wasn't getting paid for, or I would do it during work hours, and that wasn't great because, of course, the person covering my desk has their own job too, and it just... So anyways, long story short being, we decided that that for kid reasons, I was going to be a stay-at-home. But then once the kids were in school, in theory, I could go back and get another job. And I have very much considered it many, many, many times. And it's not just over the years. Like, I've also considered it many times recently, as a part of, dealing with stress and whatnot, because sometimes FSF's jobs are not great and are very stressful. And then, of course, also some of my behaviors around the house aren't great in the... did I not? Okay, I did fill that one in. Just, not necessarily getting everything done and so on. And so I've thought about going back to work, but then I realized, maybe it's just an excuse. I don't mean an excuse to get things done, but an excuse to avoid the fact that I wasn't doing great at home. So, yeah, there's a lot of that stuff going on. I enjoy streaming. And at times I've said to Fox, yeah, maybe I should quit that. And his response was, why? It's something that makes you happy. At the moment, it's a fairly important social thing. because I don't do much else out and about. I just don't. Oh yeah, okay. And so yeah, so he said don't stop that. So I don't know. There's a lot of bits and bobs, and that's about as far as I want to go into it today, because I think I've gone way too far in the first place. It's not what I wanted to do. Whoops. Let's sleep, please. But that's a very big ramble. To say that I'm on new meds, I'm learning about, well, I'm always learning about me, and I want to get better at a lot of things, focus-wise and stuff. But part of it starts out with, you know, you got to start somewhere, with projects that were unfinished. And you know, even though that's not smooth, and there's a lot of gaps because of slabs, I think I like that better because it's mostly spawn-proof. And it still showcases the numbers while being closed. Okay, so that works. And I didn't need as much glass as I thought. That also helps. Get this. Then I will have enough glass left over that I can just fill the box in the smelting room and get that part done. Sorry, vibe's not right. Okay, that wasn't what I expected either. Interesting. So this is the now trending list from Spotify, or no, via Spotify. It's actually from Epidemic Sound service. But apparently somebody's been having some fun with goofy music. What I'm going to do here is switch over. We need to do the banners for the labels for things. So I'm going to do the housekeeping part of filling this box up. Is that one still full? Yeah, that's still full. Okay. Do I have... Actually, I do have another one. Oops, nope, this one. I made a bunch of extra shulkers this season, so I want to get that sorted. And I thought by putting them right there near the glass, I would understand what it was, but apparently not. Smart. Okay, come back here. Get this one. There and there. Is that enough to fill that box? Perfect. Okay. So, yeah, yes. We'll get on to we'll have to go shopping and get some ink, I think. Ink, I think, yes. Indeed. Okay, this one. Let's go down there. This one there. Actually, let's move two. That's glass. Let's put this one here. Really should know better, honestly. Yeah, so if I do that, you can see that is glass. What's this? Stacks, gravel. Gravel is red. Okay. Was red. Seriously? It's not like I'm short on red. I don't care, recipe book. Okay, I'm assuming this harness can be every color. So maybe I should just get that out of the way. Oh, nope, it's this one. Glass. I don't think it really has a color. So I guess I'm gonna, that's why I probably left it by default. Okay. What's that? Okay, so this. Enjoy. Yes. You can stop telling me about it now. I don't have every color here, but let's see if I can get a few. Okay, can you stop telling me about it now? Oh, green. Whoops, I need this one. There we go. And green. That way I can maybe get things to stop telling me that over and over and over. This one, yellow, brown, and gray. Oops. There. Okay. Green. Alright. So now, got all the banners there. Okay. let's see what else I can do. This. Oops, and I left. I left the box. Want more of these, and I left the box. I'm gonna need... Do I have another travel one? Do I? That'd be in precious stuff, I think. I don't. Do I want to just make another one? Let's see. Oops. Yeah, this one. One of those, one of these. Oh, it's those. Okay. That's what I'm short of. I hate working with blazes, so... Okay. So that's not going to be there. It's probably in the wallet then. I'll be smarter to go and grab the other ender chest rather than waiting or making another one. Because I usually don't need 3. It's just me being lazy. Oops, wrong part of the building. I don't really want llamas, so I'm not going to chop this guy today. There we go. You go up there. It's fine. To you too. Getting better at flying. I usually don't like flying. Every time I start at the beginning of the season, I'm always rusty. But it takes a little getting used to. So in any case, I say repeatedly that I'm not going to talk about the mental health stuff, and then I go and do it. And it's just because sometimes I need to vent a little bit. And it's not always grossing, but I get so much of it. So much of it is, you know what, let's just ride this one because I can. I get used to things for years and years and years because, for a lot of reasons, but that I grew up with, you know, as many people do, the parents telling you, you know, you're being lazy, you're being willful. If you don't get stuff done or don't start things, it's your fault. You've decided it, you know, and on a lot of negativity that I'm still always going to be dealing with. It's really kicked the self-esteem part. But suffice to say, oops, I got to turn this down. Oh, geez. Okay, I haven't been here recently enough. I don't even know what that is. That's insane. Cool, whatever it is. Yeah, I haven't been here enough, because I don't even know what that is. Huh, okay. I guess I'll have to ride the rails one of these days and figure out what a lot of these things are. I haven't been here for weeks. Anyway, but I'm starting to realize how much is me making a choice, and why I make a choice, and how much is stuff that my head can be yelling at me to do something, as in, like, I guess... your consciousness, in a way, is yelling at yourself to do something, and you just can't really get over the hump to get started. And the difficulty with that is that it looks like it's a willful choice, but it may not be. It sounds really stupid to me, but that's partly because I've grown up, you know, being told to be judgmental of that, and that it's not okay, and a million other things like that, but this just wasn't okay. And so when things were not okay, I decided that, you know, that's still a really hard thing for me to be all right with. So I'm learning more and more is related to that I didn't realize was related to all of that. And so right now it feels like everything is related to that, but also with the side effects of things like outsized emotions and stuff that I don't always have control over. And once again, was generally taught that was not okay. And it's not about, like, you know, big boys or big girls don't cry. No, it's not any of that. It's related for me to just that I feel it huge, and I can't get ahead of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Where is... Oh, what am I doing? I was looking at people's bases names, half looking for mine. I'm like, I just got off the train. That's not what I want to do. I want to go shopping. To see if they even have what I'm looking for, because maybe not. Okay. Can I... There we go. I'm such an idiot. It's right there. Right under my nose. Duh. Wow, don't ask. I'm running a level of... Yeah. Not Swift. I don't know where I'm going now, but we'll get there, wherever it is. So, as a parent with a kid who supposedly has similar challenges, I have a feeling this is just going to go around in circles. I thought I'm going to go somewhere. I have no idea where I'm going. Then it gets to the point where I have limits. And it's not just because of how I was brought up. Where did I end up? I'm here, wherever here is. Oh, this is shopping. Okay, never mind. I've flown it the last few times. Well, somebody had fun. They left their gas behind. Alright. And I'm gonna go in the bookstore and see if we can nick the bed. Well, not nick it, but borrow it for just a moment. And I've got one, I think. Actually, I don't. I don't have one. Employees only. I'm cheating. Haha. But because of that, then I have my limits. And sort of like, hey, by the time it starts to bug me, there's an issue. Which isn't necessarily realistic, because, you know, she may have her own list of priorities and things. And also, I'm nervous about putting on the wrong pressures. You know, so it makes parenting a bit of a challenge, because sometimes I'm doing the thing now where I'm going, okay, if I had known what I know now, and was in her shoes, you know, how would I choose to react? And frankly, I think I probably would have done a lot of the same things I do anyways, and a lot of the same things she does. So it's just the way, you know, kids are as we grow. But, yeah. It was awkward.
Hello?
What am I looking for? Oh, I stole your bed temporarily, that's all. There. No, I'm actually not even looking for books today. I was actually aiming for... Oh, yes, of course. Hello, Mama Bear. Wonderful. And I was actually kind of going for a wander because I haven't seen anything for a while. But also very distracted because I didn't really want to go killing squids. And I was just getting lazy and choosing to go and see if anybody happened to have squid ink kicking around. But not... Oh, that's interesting. Magic button. There we go. But not so much. That's just because I haven't really looked all over the place. I'm not really sure where the best spot is. Yeah, I don't think anybody does. Because they didn't before. And I haven't heard anything about that changing. I might just have to go kill squids. I'm okay with that. So, I didn't make a base this season because I had no interest. Shop this season. I had no interest. But it looks like there's a few shops around that I had not explored properly. Huh, okay, yeah, I remember that one. Okay, I know what that is. I don't remember what that is, but I think I've seen it under construction before, so I think we're going to skip that. Alrighty, well, that was not fruitful, but that's okay. Things like that happen. And it's I'm using the ink for banners, just in case anybody's curious. Don't think there'd be anything down this way. As seen on TV. Nice. Yeah. Swanky's Ender Chest Delivery. Oh, one of Swanky shops, right. Fishes and so on. Okay. We take one look in the cart, I think. The Arrow Central. Yeah, I don't think we do this time, which is odd, but we have a lot of dyed products. And just sometimes the people who have like underwater themed bases sometimes have a ton of that stuff kicking around, but I don't think so in this instance. Okay, well, that's okay. Let's go squashing. That's good, we can go home and go squidding. That's cool. I had a couple of seasons ago, had a base that had a fish/squid farm, and it was just a pain in the butt to build, and I didn't think I'd need that much. So I didn't this season, and I'm finding, of course, because you say you don't need it, that's when
Thank you for the raid, Wolfen98, and welcome to your 11 viewers too.
Hey Wolfen and crew, welcome on in, welcome. So I'm on the DC server today. We're going to be smashing some squids, and then making some banners, because I've got a few leftover projects to do. I don't know Mama Bear, to be honest with you, so it might be easier just to create it. So I was on a bit of a headspace trip thing anyways, so I could use a readjustment. But yes, and then that's the other thing is when I find a new activity or game or whatever that I find interesting, it becomes an obsession. So the latest one, I'm enjoying Minecraft, but the latest one, I go through fits and spurts with...
Welcome.
Hey Mockbar, good to see you. By the way, welcome on in Raiders and Wolfen. I was curious to know what... if Wolfen's still around, I'm curious to know what you were up to. Otherwise, I would be very happy to have someone else fill me in.
Welcome.
It's a me raid! Those are the best kind. Me raids are always awesome. Well, okay. You raids are great, but me raids maybe not so much. But that's just sizes. Yay! Now I have to figure... Oh, there it is. I was gonna say, I had to figure out where I was, and I haven't actually given this any color, which is probably why I can't find my own house. I could fly, but I like the ride. Let's just go for a ride. Yeah, so anyways, that's where my head's been at. So my latest obsession has been, oh, Gaming District, right. Has been No Man's Sky. So I just recently found it. No problem. No problem at all, Wolfen. Anytime. I am well aware I collide with people on days, and I'm very sorry for that. If people are unable to multi-park, then, you know, I'm not offended at all if they pick one over the other. That's fine. So anyway, yeah, my latest obsession has been No Man's Sky. Now, I'm aware that they've come up with an update that some people are interested in, but it's like a lot of the space games that people talk about, and yet cozy games. I had to admit to myself the other day, finally, I guess I'm just a cozier games person. I don't deal well with jump scares. I'm terrible at the mechanics and speed and twitch required in first-person shooters. And it's not just a matter of... yeah. So it's not just a matter of getting better at first-person shooter stuff. It was one of those things I never really enjoyed it enough to make it worthwhile. So, no, I'm not going to be streaming No Man's Sky as far as I can tell. Part of it is because I do bad enough as it is in Minecraft. So,
Ads are starting, which means it's break time. Thank you for your patience and stream support.
wow. Okay, well, that's supposed to have a label on there, but yeah, we'll get to there in a sec. So we'll do the usual thing, and get this back this way. And over here. We'll do this for the duration of the ads, and we'll see where we get to afterwards, and then we'll come back. Okay, so maybe I wasn't entirely clear. What I meant is, by I do bad enough in Minecraft. What I mean by that is, the generic wisdom that people give out when you're a streamer is that you should play a game where there's interest, but that very few other people play. You know, sort of find your niche in a way. And right now, because of the recent update, No Man's Sky is hot enough that I really wouldn't do very well there at all. Yeah. So... how does that have that many words with those letters? So anyways, suffice to say that that's part of the thing, is that it's popular enough right now, and I'm such a noob at it that I don't even have tips and tricks and things, and with the scrolling and getting very distracted, I don't honestly think that my style would be of interest. Now, I mean, if you guys want to throw me a comment in a Discord somewhere, or direct or whatever, that refutes that, go for it. But I really don't think it would be interesting to people right now. My other one I was playing is Hogwarts Legacy, and once again, I'm terrible at that as well, banging my head against very basic battles. So you're going to see less of that. Aside from the fact that ads... We'll restart this one more time, and I'll try and play along, but just because we have one more round of ads. But, so the other one I'm playing is a little bit of Hogwarts Legacy, and I always like the puzzle games. Sometimes when I can get people interested with me, not always, but sometimes when people choose to get interested with me, they make suggestions on where to go, what to try, and what to do, and it feels more collaborative, so I don't have to worry about necessarily being bad at stuff. I mean, there's probably people yelling at the screen at times going, "You really should have looked at whatever," and I can see that. It doesn't always work for everybody. And there's a few that have commented on they may play Minecraft in a cozy way, but it's because it's their break from, you know, a heavier duty, say, Call of Duty shooter or something like that. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Wolfen. So here, pushed you back into an ad. Shouldn't have, because the whole point to me running ads is to not have pre-rolls. So I'm really puzzled by that. Oh, whoops, I used it wrong. And we're not going to make it. That's okay. Oh, thanks, Mockbar. You pushed us right over the edge. It really helps. All right. So for those of you coming back from ads, I can't remember where we were. Just we went into that. I'll have to scroll back and see. Oh, people are asking if I was going to be streaming No Man's Sky. Yeah, and I said no because the confidence for me isn't there enough to either make an interesting base or to fly interesting places or to try gutsy things. I don't like dealing with, the risk of getting overrun by little critters trying to kill you sort of deal. Alien-esque. So that part of it doesn't thrill me. And a lot of the rest of it ends up very repetitive, flying around through space or being very Minecrafty, farming things and getting the digging up the bits to be able to buy the instructions to be able to do other things. It's just a lot of that round in circles. And I honestly don't, I find it relaxing, but I don't necessarily think that many others would. But I mean, people are welcome to argue with that. There's not a whole ton of story to it, but I may keep doing some puzzlers as well, and with the odd bit of Hogwarts Legacy, but I have to be careful with Hogwarts Legacy because when it's not grindy, I'm nervous, I guess. I've been nervous about that one for months, just because people have their opinions. And people don't say anything to me, really. It's been a couple of years since I've lost people from the stream because of my Potter interest. But it makes me nervous in the back of my head, which throws me. And it's difficult when there's a game that actually has storyline to it, verbally, to keep up some chatter on the side. I know that Ratfin does it very, very well. It's just not something that I'm all that great at. But, everybody's different, right? Okay. So, today, gotta go sleep and then go squidding. There's one. Another part of it is when I'm gaming, doing just about any type of game, unless it's something to me at the time utterly... Is it still functioning? Okay, seems to be. Utterly addicting. So, like, this thing, I couldn't leave it alone. I kept messing with it over and over and over again. And I'm still messing with it from time to time. And it's still not going to be what it should be, but, some people are able to get tons and tons of materials out of these, and I'm not. Skill issue. There you go. Anyway, where am I here? People say don't run yourself down, and that, you're doing great and all this kind of stuff. Which, the reason I have trouble buying that is more that sometimes you do the same thing over and over again, but if I can't seem to commit to memory the way I did it that worked well for me before, then it's always learning from scratch, and that gets old. This is not meant as a tour. Just a quick check before I go outside and start smashing squids. There we go. Close enough. What are we doing on the cactus? I just don't want to be full. Okay, we're not full. Alright. Screen check. Ah, good. Thank you. See, this is why we have awesome people that remind me of stuff like that. Okay, let's do a map check. So I don't fly north away from the water. That would just be kind of suboptimal. Okay, I need squids, so let's just go south then. South is this way. Ow, tree. Ow. I never did fly well. Okay, I thought I saw... Oh. Okay, I'm here, squids are there. Come on, you guys. Get off the program, maybe somewhere I can actually clobber you a little easier. So yeah, I mean, I do have other interests, but that's partly why I don't seem to get as much done in Minecraft, is because the... Did you just... Okay. But that's why I don't get as much done in Minecraft, is because I don't feel comfortable doing as much of the grindy stuff on stream. Just it's a lack of there we go. Hello? Thank you. I got a ding, but I'm like, what the heck did I get a ding for? Because I didn't pick anything up. And that's solved. So anyway, yeah, it's a matter of thinking that I need more patter. Yeah, it's the XP ding, but frequently when I get the XP ding, I've also picked up the stuff at the same time. I'm not often far enough away from the one to pick up the item without getting the other at the same time. There we go. So it's sort of a ding-click combination. So one is the XP, and then the click is the picking up of the ink sacs. Come on, you. Come here. Okay. And yeah, I guess that's the submarine. I suppose I should have pointed that out. So just for those of you that might be in the DC73 community and are curious, I will not be signing up for the base tours. I did not feel that there was enough this season to make it worthwhile. So much of it is horribly self-explanatory, and that you've either seen it here or seen it elsewhere, so it's nothing novel. On one of the very last days, I guess, maybe when I'm doing the schematics or something, I will maybe do a little one of my own, but it's not critical. Hey you, come here. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, the big thing that, yes, I have a therapist, no surprise, given what I was yakking about earlier. But given that situation, I'm still always going to be dealing with the confidence thing, because she basically said it going, well, somebody broke you and you got to fix yourself, but it's not going to be easy. And if the easy things don't give the, you know, the satisfaction buzz, it's easy to not do them, if that makes any logical loop sense. But of course that gets you around in circles in not making much progress. So yeah. The other thing is some of the stuff I thought about doing, by the time I think about doing it, I see someone else who's done it better, and I find myself either unintentionally basically plagiarizing, or not wanting to do it because the other person has now done it better in such a way that I don't feel I can add anything by doing it myself. So that's part of why some of the themes that one might guess I would work on in Minecraft have not been done, is because others have done such a better job that I admire their work and I want to let it stand and not sully it with my own attempts. So that's the way life goes around here. Come on, squids. But yeah, that's part of actually also why I was looking at alternate games that were quasi-similar in a way, is because, hey, you know, there's Minecraft, and then there's, well, X hasn't been done in, I don't know, Planet Crafter or something. Sure, that only goes so far, though. Because eventually, it's really a matter of being honest with yourself on why are you doing it. Come on. But derailing entirely, yes, it's a jarring derail, intentional. So I got Scout Camp this weekend, and it's the first major one of our year. It's a practice camp for our Great Escape overnight event, but it's also, being the first of the year, we're using it for teaching some of our new youth, or new to our year, Scout level year. They've come up from the below, and we take the first camp almost always to do permits. Basic lessons like, here's how you use your knife, and here's how you safely use the stoves we're going to be using, and here's how you chop wood and stuff like that. Which, it's funny because some of the youth have done it before so much that it's not going to be a problem. They just have to show off that they can do it safely without supervision. That's the big key. Our permits are being able to do something like that unsupervised. Meaning if the kid says, yeah, I'm just going to chop some wood for you. Cool. It doesn't take, one or more other people to keep an eye on them, to help them stay safe and make sure they don't do stupid things. Or that we're not going to end up with like a major first aid situation or something. So that's part of it. But also some of them have never done this before, right? Like one of the things that you find in this day and age, makes me sound so old. One of the things you find in this day and age is that so many of the kids are, for lack of a better term, cityfied. They don't need to, right? They don't need to do a lot of these adventure things. So even though I get really frustrated at times, oh, I don't want the building inspectors, you can just go away. Even though I get frustrated at times with the amount of bubble wrap and limitations that our scouting group has, I have to be honest that when I think about how cityfied a lot of the kids are, then even the limited stuff we are allowed to do is actually quite adventurous for them. But I mean, there's also a few of them in our senior year who will be going up to a section next year where they're, I should say expected, but it's much more common for there to be far more adventurous activities. And the group that we have going through has a vibe of being relatively laid back and chill. They don't necessarily like to do a whole ton of adventurous out there activities, so we're trying to encourage them to do things. Which unfortunately the result of that has been that they are going on more expensive activities, just fewer of them. And that's 6 of one, half dozen the other, I suppose, but the math doesn't work out. For example, we've got a bunch of them going to a jamboree in England next year, and I've got 2 of my kids going, I only have 2 kids, but my 2 kids going, and then I'm going to be going as a chaperone. And then you do the math on that, and every time we do a deposit payment, we're still talking Canadian dollars, but it's like $1,200 every time we do a deposit, which is not exactly a tiny chunk of change, even when you convert to American dollars. So, come on, let me sleep. Sorry. From my point of view, the hand was almost in time with the music rhythm, and that was a little bit weird. Okay, so anyway, because that's, not an inexpensive thing, sometimes you'd say, hey, I'd rather you do a bunch more of these, like, $100 throughout the year type things, rather than something every 2 years that's going to be, over $5,000. And that's actually just the jamboree and the tour week. If we add anything else onto that, because I happen to have family in Ireland, visit there, technically that's even more. Which, as we talked about, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so we're Fantastic Sherlock Fox. But yet, one of the things we both seem to be on the same page about, which unfortunately makes life expensive, is that rather than, we have a nice house and stuff like that, but rather than moving to even bigger houses or spoiling people to death with stuff at home, we do enough of it as it is, but not a ton. We're on the same page that we wanted our kids to be able to have experiences. So, for example, he had to travel a fair bit because his parents were in the military, and so he's been places and done things and stuff, but they didn't actually go on a lot of major holidays as such. Not the way we think, Disney World or Hawaii or something, crazy like that. Overseas voluntarily wasn't really a thing, and I got a different version. My parents did take us to Hawaii several times. I've been to Disney a few times growing up. We've done some as adults too, but like Fox and I. But growing up as a kid, I was in a neighborhood that actually has a fairly bad rep. And it was, my parents didn't have to live there. They made the kind of money that we could have moved elsewhere. But they said, well, it was a neighborhood that wasn't always like that. And so, of course, they'd made friends with some of the older neighbors. So they had a nice little micro community on the street. And then they said, well, I mean, we lose all that if we move. Plus, what would we be moving for? We'd have to be moving for the house, the yard, the whatever. Whereas they could stay with the small house we had in this neighborhood, but our street wasn't actually that bad. My brother and I weren't actually going to the schools in the neighborhood for those reasons. So we lived there, but then we did trips. We did things like, you go to see the classical music and philharmonic orchestra, or plays, or the odd concert, or those sorts of things. We saw a lot of movies, as in like take the 4 of us to the theater, which can get expensive. All that sort of stuff. So we had the experiences rather than the living thing. I mean, one could argue it's somewhat similar, because there are people out there, for example, who have amazingly expensive cars. And I used to think that's kind of ridiculous, but then someone pointed out to me at one point that if I knew more about the person, and it turned out in this particular instance under discussion at the time, I did, that when I knew more about the person and thought about it, they spent hours and hours commuting from their, I think it was a duplex or something, like a multi-family dwelling type of thing. Anyways, but they spent hours commuting every day from their place of residence to where they worked. So, when you think about it that way, if they want to spend those hours in a very nice car, then that's great for them. They were out and about a lot doing other things. So basically, they weren't at home, right? So if you're not at home, then you don't need to have a great busy home. Nope, that's fine. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon. So, yeah, like that's, and I mean, a good, actually, frankly put, no offense, we're not trying to say anything negative, but I mean, Neon, for example, he had all kinds of stuff going on in this community, and yet, by comparison, it's not like he has chosen to have a very luxurious place to live, right? Things happen, and for a while he was chilling out in travel trailers, but not necessarily because he had to. There was more to it than that, and that's the key. There's more to it. There's almost always more to the story. So sometimes the outward appearance isn't what is going on behind the scenes. So I had my brother, more accurately, had some friends at school he wanted to invite to a birthday party, like at our house growing up. And unfortunately, because of where we lived, or which neighborhood we lived in, the friend's parents wouldn't let him come. Wouldn't let their kid go to the party. And that was really disappointing. If you think about it, the neighborhood basically, we didn't have, as far as I knew anyways, didn't have much for gangs and stuff, but it was a bit of a rougher neighborhood, in sort of like the east side type of concept you hear about a lot of cities. But really it was just more that it was run down and full of a lot of working class people. So there was, accidents and unrest and whatever. That happens. It's not, we had far less than some of the stereotypes in the news these days about other cities, but we had a very nice yard, very nice lawn, very nice neighbors all around us. The elementary school I went to actually had a lot of really nice kids whose parents were nice, but they just were in financial places where they couldn't afford to move. And sometimes the neighborhood didn't look that great because, people would be driving older cars, or some of them would have a project car, that sort of thing. Or some of them didn't seem to take great care of their yards, but it would turn out because the person, the parents were working 1 or 2 jobs or something, and therefore they weren't home to be able to mow the lawn before the quiet hours bylaws kick in. All that sort of stuff. And so it became, there's reasons. And I'm not trying to defend every neighborhood, but it was just, that's where I grew up with. So we're thinking, experiential stuff is important for us, for our kids, so that we can, give them opportunities, but they're getting far more of the rest of that because it's just, for a long time, Fox and I didn't think we were going to be having kids. It just wasn't in the cards and stuff, and so we spent the money on a nice house because we'd already been to Hawaii and Disney and whatever together a few times, and it said, okay, well then we'll go with a house that we can host, like, you know, nicer ones so that we can actually host his coworkers and have like coworker parties and stuff, because that's what that group of people did at the time. And turned out, you know, lo and behold, we ended up having kids. So we're in a nice enough house, and I really like it. And we got in before some of the super expensive stuff, but still, it means we still have to be careful of other elements, right? So things like a jamboree is great, and it's wonderful on the experience front, but I mean, we're not paying for one person to do this adventure, we're paying for 3. And that my fee is cheaper than the kids because I'm going as a chaperone. But we still have to pay for flights and all that stuff too, right? Flights and hotels and things you can't avoid. So, oh well. Another way I look at it though is it's a time limited thing. Like, there'll be a point at which, whether it be through scouting or through family things or anything else, fine, that the kids won't want to do anything with us. Either of us, whether it be me as a leader or whether it be like just that environment and atmosphere. I think my kids are going to become the citified type. And what I mean by that is they're not mega outdoorsy as it is. That's not really their cup of tea. But I'm not super duper outdoorsy either. I spend a lot of time indoor. But I suspect that my kids will be some of those ones where they'll have a generational attitude of the been there, done that. I've, you know, had my stint in tents and whatever, so I'm now going to be a hotel forevermore type person. And I may go out to the wild, I may not. So I figure I'll take advantage of the limited time where they're going to let us do stuff like that as much as I possibly can. Okay, we've got 2 stacks in a bit. Let's see how far that gets us. Where are we? Okay, we're almost back. Oh, forgot about this one. Yeah, I don't really want to go around that. I'm just lazy. So as for projects go, we have the clock that needs the label. We wanted to label for this one and probably a label for that one of some sort. I don't think the Beatles floor carpet thing needs a label. It's kind of obvious. What else have we got? Yeah, so the Yellow Submarine doesn't need a label. It's kind of obvious. So we really just need 1, 2, 3 labels. And hopefully we'll be able to do that with the amount that we've got. I never did end up tearing down the trial chamber, nor did I end up finishing the trial chamber. I think I finished most of the basic stuff, but I don't think we ever did the higher end things. So if someone wants a trial chamber, have at her. There's one near me. Oh, do I have a heads box? I sometimes do. Is this yeah, that's a heads box. There we go. All right. These and those. And let's convert at least this much. Yeah, I'll get one more stack out of it. Oh, phooey. Let's do this. There we go. No problem. Thank you very much for coming by, Mama Bear. Always a pleasure, never required. All right, what's this? This is looms. Okay. So now we have to figure out how to make the lettering, right? The question is, what do I want to say? Oh, I guess I can sleep. So the clock reference. I think I've shown this clip ages ago. But if you ever get the chance to see the movie, you'll sort of follow. When the Beatles are riding around the submarine, oops, let's do the other one. when they're riding around in the submarine, the submarine starts going back in time, and it starts rushing forward in time, and they start getting old, right? And so old first or young first, I can't remember which, but one of the directions. They end up both ways. And so you can see the time going back, and they couldn't figure out quite how to stop it from going back till they didn't exist. So one of the characters jumps on the clock and grabs onto a hand and pulls it, going forwards again. I think it's that way. And so they start getting super old, and that's when the movie has them saying, "When I'm 64." And so that was where my reference was, why I built the clock. So, let's see, it's 4. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so the other thing, the time on the clock is supposed to read, it doesn't, but it's supposed to read 2:45. And there's a line in the song that says about something like, "If I've been out till 2:45, would you lock the door?" And so that's what that's referring to. So that's part of why I'm thinking I should probably put a banner series that says the whole set of, like, the title. And if people don't get it, they don't get it. That's fine. You know? Sometimes people get things and sometimes they don't. Alright. So, this is where I look at the clock and go, there's 10 minutes left, so what can we do in 10 minutes? And one of the things I can hopefully do is start bringing up some banners. Oops. Minecraft. I hope I can do this. We'll see. There's a lot of ways to do these in different fonts, and it might work and it might not. So one of the other things is there's a couple of different fonts, so to speak, as to what the letters look like, and some of them are great and some of them are terrible. And I thought I had a Minecraft help thing. What did I do with that? I don't have that. Huh, okay. The other problem is some of them, when you look on the web for pictures of how to do the various letters, they end up with situations... What the... No, I don't care right now. Situations where you'll get instructions that don't work anymore because they had more steps than currently allowed. It's just that Minecraft changed it when they put in the looms. And so a lot of these are the old formats. And so you see stuff that doesn't tell you which one to do because it's telling you put the... Yeah, and it's using crafting table settings. Okay, we want... I'm going to do a few of these separately, but let's put banners in here. And then this one in there. I'm starting with a W. I'm just going to go on... Oh, actually, you know, these are all white banners, right? Maybe I should do them in yellow. Yeah, and minimize things. That's probably better. Okay, well, we have yellow, I think. I hope. Oh, yeah. I should not have worried about that. Okay. That's not going to be good in that it takes too many steps, but we'll just go with it. What did I do there? Oh, I can't... Duh. Can't dye the banners. That's the problem. Silly fool. Okay. I mean, I can, but I can't, and I don't really know if I want to do it that way. Anyways. Yeah. Okay, let's just grab a bunch more. Just make some fresh banners. We have wool out the back end, so let's just that way. And I didn't bring a box. Silly me. Okay, where is yellow? And why am I have a feeling I don't need this box. Let me just take the box and not replace it for the moment. Oh, phooey. Because I think I might actually have some downstairs. Yeah, I did. Okay, let's put this back for now. And I need my box of sticks. This one. Alright. So we need yellow banners. And I just might make a ton of them just because I have the materials. Oh, come on. Really? There we go. That's better. That'll get us a start. Okay. Yeah. So let's see, a W. This one. I am following instructions, I'm just not good at it. For Pete's sake. Sorry, Pinterest is what I ended up on, and it's just nagging me to log in. No, I don't want to do that. There we go. Okay, fine. All right. Hello? All right, so we've got the yellow base. Fine. Okay, now we need this one. Okay, let's take that. And then now we need the left-hand side. Oh, that's wide. Well, it'll have to do. I think I know where they're going with this. Okay, so left-hand side and right-hand side. And where is the thing? I think it's this one and the other one. This one.
Hello there.
Oh, hey, B Silverbee, welcome on in. Thank you very much. I understand that people can be busy. I appreciate that you chose to drop in. Okay, now I need to get that yellow back because I need to make a border on this one. There we go. Do this. Take that, throw it in here. Oh, and I made a mistake. Ooey. Yeah, I made a mistake. Can I? There. Don't have a bucket handy. I'm going to be starting some lettering for signage. But I made some boo-boos, so I need to get some water and play with it, I guess. There we go. Okay, if I do this, and oop. Now, oops. Okay, this one, and I put in the yellow. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, I got the last one off. Good. Good, good, good. That's what I wanted. Let's take this yellow. That's better. That. And then we go put this border on. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So then we're back. Rinse and repeat, right? So this one, let's go back. I'm going to try and wing some of these because I can figure out some of them, but not all of them. So this should be fairly straightforward. Right, we've got an H going on. So this one. H. And this one. Okay, that. Okay, now let's see. Just gotta write it out for a sec. H-E-N. When. It's when I'm 64. So the apostrophe is going to be ugly. I don't think it's possible, but we'll see. I'm 64. That way I can make sure I get the right number. Okay, so there's only one E, which is reasonable. So I just had a distraction come in. Yay! Distractions! Come on, lettering. This one. Okay, so we've got... Start with the yellow again. Right. Black. And that one. Yeah, this is fairly straightforward here. Top and bottom lines. Where did you go? Oh. Okay. Not quite what I was hoping for, but it'll have to do. Yeah, second I was thinking I had another one, but okay, that doesn't work. That's fine. And then the bottom version of that. This one. I see what they're doing as well. Okay. I'm not going to worry about much more than that shape. I could have made an indent on it, but there's not much point to that. So, where? There we go. Now we're into ends. Yay. Pete's sake. There we go. It's a yellow base. And let's go black. It starts to get really repetitive fairly quickly, so I apologize. We can do this one, and this one, and that one, followed by that one. When? Yay! So, fairly straightforward again. This one, and that one. Ugh, that's ugly. Do not like. Oh well. Even with the border, whoops. Even with the border around it. I wish these were smaller, but oh well. When I okay. Trying to figure out doing text, or not text, punctuation is not high on my list, so I'm just going to worry about the the lettering for now. How did I do that one? It's this one. Okay, it's the reverse of a W. Let's go this way. And this one. And that one. This one. With yellow. And that one. And this one. It'll do. It's not ideal, but it will do. So when I'm... Aha, that's a nice S. Okay. So slow and steady, right? Okay, we've got... Black might help. I'm also having to watch the count on the lettering because sometimes it's too much. Okay. And we're over the top of the hour, so let me finish this letter and then we'll stop. Top. This one. Oops. Okay. That. Go back. That. Okay, and then we go... Oh! We don't have some of the shapes I expected. Nuts. There used to be one that's kind of like these teeth, the 3 teeth, except it was on the sides, like vertically. And I don't have it, and I'm wondering, before I block that one out. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think they're all that different. Is it up here? Globe, flower, field mason. Ah, that's the one. So some of them are built in and some of them you need to do extra things with. So this now gets me that. That's the shape I was looking for before. Okay, this. And then I can throw the square on the outside just to even it all off. That's better. And I see, I should have done the eyes twice. See, this is what I was talking about. Is I have to cross out the letters. And I didn't get the eye twice. So, anyway. You can see where we're going with this altogether. Well, on that note, poor bee, silver bee. Hairball gone wrong? Okay, so we've got the clock done, and we'll probably come back on Thursday and do some more of that and get into the carpet art piece. Potentially, if we're not ready to do the carpet art because it isn't cleared enough, then we will do some tree chopping for that one. As much as I would love in my world to get the circles going for mainframe, it's not super exciting for me, so let's see what else. Let's see what else we can do instead. But also that, as I said, we've got the timer is ticking, or I should say, maybe more accurately, the sand is sliding through the hourglass, right? So, on that note, let's see if we can find somebody we could raid. So, who do we have? We have... Oops, gotta refresh that. Load, please. We have a lot of good folks out today. Okay, it's Tuesday. I've been raided by wonderful fine Wolfen. Where do we want to go after this? I think we're going to stick with the Minecraft theme for today, as much as I would love to go elsewhere. So we're going to head on over to... That's a tough one. Let's head on over to Motown Mickey. Now, please keep in mind, Mickey's been up 4 hours, so she may raid out relatively soon. But I think that's our best bet for the moment. So hang on to your hats. Do have yourselves a great time over there. and I will be back tomorrow probably playing some sort of puzzler. We were working on Corn Undying Thoughts. It's one of those world games, so you have to move levers and stuff in one part of the world to run over and do something else in another part. Yeah, Mickey can go really long, or Mickey can say, I'm tired and I need to raid out, so who knows. But I would definitely say that's the best place for us to be. And if you're up for puzzlers, I will be up tomorrow. I don't have it set up in the schedule as anything specific.
Welcome.
But if you're... Hey Shro, good to see you. I was just about to raid out, so I apologize for doing so just as you said hello. You did, but you know what? Just before we do, let's give a couple of nice shoutouts. Let's see here. Okay, that one didn't work, but let's do it this way. Add. Wow, I can actually type today. Add. Oh, that's why it doesn't like it. There we go. So Shro is also an absolutely fabulous streamer, and if you have not had the chance to follow them, you really, really should. They are amazing. I haven't had as much time to actively participate in a lot of the streams lately, but I have been lurking when I can, and I know Fantastic Sherlock Fox is, in some cases, he's had it on in the background, so I've sort of been tangentially lurking, you could say. But I wish you all the best. I've heard that your focus is changing a bit more, and I like that. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, we'll head on over to Mickey, and if you have any questions or whatever, you always can find the, you know, they say, find the Discord below, or click all the things. I know it's a very YouTube-y thing, but it works here as well. And yeah, let's just roll, because otherwise I'm going to get into some other sort of random tangent that I'm going to regret, you know? Alright, so if you're the type that likes emotes, they will be on your screen in a moment.
Mischief managed.
And I guess it did. It managed me. We got something done today. Yeah. What? I have no idea why Osmond's talking to me, but that's okay. Whatever. So thank you very much to Wolfen for the raid. Very, very much appreciated. Also thank you to Neon for dropping in, and to Fantastic Sherlock Fox for dropping in, as well as Mama Bear. Those three were our moderation team today. We had some good conversation from them, plus Las, and Taya, and Wolfen, Mockbar, and B Silverbee dropped by, and Shro for show. So, hang on to your hats, be kind to Moton Mickey, and we shall see you on the other side. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Bye-bye for now.
Transfer complete.